Imagine your body as a city lit up at night, humming with power and motion. Deep inside, two quiet heroes, the liver and the gut, are working non-stop, cleaning, repairing, fueling everything you do. But what if I told you that the snacks you reach for, the drinks you sip, the little habits you barely notice are slowly wearing them down? No alarms, no warning lights, just silent damage, building day after day. Here's the truth, with just a few smart changes, you can lift that burden, restore their strength, and unlock more energy and health than you thought possible. Let's uncover the 7 everyday habits that might be silently working against you, and how to turn them into your greatest advantage. When we think about what damages the liver and intestines, most people immediately imagine alcohol or infections, but one of the most silent and dangerous enemies is far more common. It's hidden sugar and ultra-processed foods. These are the snacks, drinks, packaged meals, and so-called healthy options that are loaded with refined carbohydrates and fructose, often in forms your body isn't designed to handle in such concentrated amounts. The liver is our chemical processing plant, quietly working day and night to detoxify, metabolize, and keep blood sugar balanced. But when you feed it constant spikes of fructose, found in soft drinks, candies, even some fruit juices, it gets overwhelmed. Unlike glucose, which most of the body's cells can use for energy, fructose is almost entirely processed in the liver. That means every time you drink a sweetened beverage or snack on something with high fructose corn syrup, you're giving your liver extra work. Over time, this isn't just a workload issue, it turns into fat. This is how non-alcoholic fatty liver disease starts, a condition now seen not only in adults but even in children. And the gut doesn't escape this damage either. Your intestines are lined with a delicate ecosystem of trillions of bacteria that regulate digestion, immunity, and even mood. Ultra-processed foods disrupt this balance. They are stripped of fiber, loaded with additives, and often consumed quickly and in large quantities. Fiber is like the scaffolding that holds your gut ecosystem together. Without it, harmful bacteria can thrive, inflammation can increase, and the lining of your intestines becomes more permeable, a problem sometimes called leaky gut. When this happens, substances that should stay inside the gut can move into your bloodstream, creating a low-level inflammatory state that puts even more stress on your liver. The combination of a sugar-heavy diet and refined carbs is like running your body on cheap, unstable fuel. Your blood sugar rises and falls rapidly, your insulin levels stay high, and your liver starts storing fat instead of burning it. And what's dangerous is how subtle it feels at first. You don't wake up the next morning with liver pain, there's no immediate warning light. The damage is quiet, gradual, and cumulative, often showing up years later as fatigue, poor digestion, weight gain around the midsection, or abnormal blood tests. But here's the hopeful part. This isn't permanent damage if you act now. Your liver and gut have incredible power to recover. Cut back on sodas, limit processed snacks, choose whole foods, vegetables, fruits, lean proteins, healthy fats, and your microbiome starts to rebuild. Your liver fat begins to clear. It's not about perfection, it's about daily choices. Each meal is an opportunity to either stress these organs or allow them to thrive. And if you understand this connection, the next time you look at a processed snack, you'll know exactly what it's costing you internally, and what you stand to gain if you choose differently. When we talk about habits that silently wear down your health, hidden sugars and ultra-processed foods are among the biggest offenders, yet they often go unnoticed because they're everywhere. They're in the soda you sip without thinking, the flavored yogurt that claims to be healthy, the energy bars and packaged snacks you grab when you're busy. What makes them so harmful is how they overload the liver and disrupt the balance of your gut. The liver, which acts like a chemical factory, is responsible for processing everything you eat. But unlike glucose, which most of your body's cells can use, fructose is handled almost entirely by the liver. When fructose comes from whole fruits, it's wrapped in fiber, water, and nutrients, so it's processed slowly and safely. But when it comes from sweetened drinks, syrups, or processed snacks, it arrives in concentrated doses. The liver converts much of this excess fructose into fat, leading to a buildup inside the liver itself. This is how conditions like non-alcoholic fatty liver disease start, and it's happening at alarming rates even among young people. At the same time, refined carbohydrates and processed foods create another layer of damage. They're stripped of natural fiber and nutrients, so they break down quickly into sugar, spiking blood glucose and insulin levels. This not only stresses the pancreas but also feeds into fat storage around the liver and abdomen. And your gut, the long coiled system that extracts nutrients and houses trillions of beneficial bacteria, is deeply affected. These processed foods lack the fiber that your gut microbes thrive on. Fiber acts like fuel and structure for healthy bacteria, helping them produce compounds that protect your intestinal lining and reduce inflammation. When you remove that fiber and replace it with additives, preservatives, and simple sugars, the gut bacteria shift in the wrong direction. Harmful strains can overgrow, beneficial ones shrink, and the delicate barrier of the intestines becomes weaker. This can lead to increased intestinal permeability, sometimes called leaky gut, allowing particles to enter the bloodstream and triggering immune responses that further strain the liver. The danger of these foods is how easy they are to consume, and how subtle the damage feels. There's no immediate pain, no quick signal that your liver is filling with fat or your gut is losing balance. But over time, fatigue, digestive discomfort, brain fog, and unexpected weight changes can appear. The good news is the liver and gut are remarkably resilient. By cutting back on sugary drinks, packaged snacks, and refined carbs, and choosing whole foods rich in fiber and nutrients, you give these organs a chance to recover. Even small, consistent changes, more vegetables, lean proteins, healthy fats, and hydration, can begin to clear fat from the liver and restore balance to your microbiome. Your daily choices are like votes for your health, and each better choice allows these vital systems to do what they were designed to do: keep you energized, protected, and thriving. When we think about things that damage the liver and gut, many people focus on food or alcohol, but there's another silent factor that slips under the radar: our reliance on medications and supplements. Modern medicine has given us incredible tools: pain relievers, antibiotics, antacids, energy boosters, detox powders, and countless pills for every discomfort. But what we often forget is that every single pill, whether prescribed, over-the-counter, or natural, has to pass through the liver and intestines. Your liver acts like a high-tech processing plant, breaking down and neutralizing chemicals before they move into the bloodstream. When we take these substances occasionally and responsibly, the system handles it well. But when painkillers like NSAIDs or acetaminophen are taken frequently, or when someone mixes medications with herbal or detox supplements without guidance, the liver is forced to work beyond its capacity. Acetaminophen, for example, is safe in normal doses but can be toxic in excess. It's one of the most common causes of acute liver injury worldwide, and it's found not just in painkillers but also in cold medicines and combination drugs. NSAIDs, on the other hand, may not always harm the liver directly, but they can irritate the stomach and intestinal lining, increasing the risk of bleeding, ulcers, and inflammation. Supplements can pose another risk. Just because something is labeled natural doesn't mean it's harmless. Many detox products and weight loss blends contain concentrated plant compounds or unregulated ingredients that put extra strain on the liver's detox pathways. Some even contain undisclosed substances that can cause harm when combined with prescription drugs. And the gut, which is supposed to absorb nutrients and maintain a strong barrier, can become irritated or inflamed with chronic use of certain pills, especially if they affect stomach acid or the microbial balance. The problem is that most people don't think twice about doubling a dose or adding another supplement to the mix, because the effects are rarely immediate. The damage is often slow, building over time as liver enzymes rise or the intestinal lining weakens. The encouraging part is that this risk is almost entirely preventable. Your liver and gut can recover when given a break. This means using medications only when necessary, following dosing instructions carefully, and always letting your doctor know about any supplements you take. It also means exploring non-drug options for pain relief or digestion, like lifestyle changes, diet adjustments, and stress management. Respecting your liver and gut doesn't mean avoiding medicine, it means using it wisely. These organs are resilient, but they work best when they aren't under constant chemical assault. When we think about alcohol, most people imagine heavy drinkers or late-night parties, but the truth is that even moderate social drinking can have a quiet, steady impact on your liver and gut over time. The liver is the primary site where alcohol is broken down, and every sip you take is treated as a toxin to be neutralized. In small amounts, the liver can process it, but even moderate consumption, just a few drinks a week, still triggers inflammation and oxidative stress. The byproducts of alcohol metabolism, like acetaldehyde, are harmful compounds that can damage liver cells. Over months and years, these small hits can lead to fat accumulation, scarring, and a greater risk of liver conditions. And this doesn't require extreme drinking. It's the consistency, not just the quantity, that matters. If your liver is already busy processing sugars, medications, or processed foods, adding alcohol creates a compounded strain, but the gut also feels the effects of alcohol. And this is something many people overlook. The gut lining is a thin protective barrier that decides what gets absorbed and what stays out. Alcohol irritates and weakens this barrier, making it more permeable. This means substances that normally wouldn't enter the bloodstream can now leak through, triggering inflammation and immune responses that further tax the liver. Alcohol also disrupts the balance of gut bacteria, reducing the beneficial strains and allowing harmful ones to grow. When this balance shifts, digestion suffers, nutrient absorption declines, and inflammation becomes more common. Symptoms might be subtle: bloating, indigestion, fatigue, or they might go unnoticed until a doctor finds abnormal lab results. One reason alcohol's impact is underestimated is that its effects are cumulative. A weekend drink here, a celebration there. It feels harmless, but the body doesn't reset after each drink. It keeps a memory of those insults. Over time, even modest amounts can create a low-grade injury that accelerates when other habits, like high sugar intake or frequent medications, are layered on top. The encouraging news is that your liver and gut are incredibly adaptable. Cutting back even a little, setting alcohol-free days, or switching to non-alcoholic alternatives can give these organs space to heal. The microbiome can recover, inflammation can settle, and liver fat can decrease. This isn't about judgment, it's about understanding that these systems thrive best with less chemical stress. Each choice to reduce or pause alcohol is like a deposit in your long-term health account, and the return is often more energy, clearer thinking, and better digestion. Most people think about food and drink when they consider liver and gut health, but what's happening in your mind and daily routine may be just as important. Stress, sleep, and meal timing create an invisible framework that either supports or sabotages these organs. When you're under chronic stress, rushing through the day, juggling work, family, and finances, your body releases hormones like cortisol and adrenaline. These are helpful in short bursts, but when they stay elevated, they change how your liver and gut function. The liver begins mobilizing stored glucose, raising blood sugar. While digestion slows down, the gut's lining can become more permeable, allowing inflammation to spread more easily, and your microbiome, the trillions of bacteria that keep digestion balanced, can shift toward less healthy strains. This is why stressed people often notice bloating, irregular bowel movements, or stomach discomfort. Sleep plays a similar, often underestimated role. The liver carries out some of its most important repair and detoxification processes at night. If you're staying up late, waking often, or cutting sleep short, those processes get interrupted. Poor sleep is linked to higher fat accumulation in the liver and an imbalance of gut bacteria. Even 1 or 2 nights of reduced sleep can affect how your body handles sugar and toxins the next day, making your liver work harder. Over time, irregular sleep patterns add up, and you might not feel the damage until you notice fatigue, brain fog, or abnormal test results. Meal timing also matters more than many realize. Eating late at night or skipping meals can throw off your digestive rhythm. Your gut has its own clock, and your liver relies on predictable windows of fasting and feeding to stay balanced. When you eat at odd hours, especially late in the evening, your body shifts energy toward digestion instead of repair. Calories consumed right before bed are more likely to be stored as fat, including in the liver, and can disrupt sleep quality. The encouraging thing is that these are areas where small changes make a big difference. Lower stress by building short pauses into your day, even just a few deep breaths or a walk outside. Protect your sleep by aiming for consistent bedtimes, limiting screens, and keeping your room cool and dark. Try to align meals with daylight hours, allowing your gut and liver to rest at night. These aren't dramatic lifestyle overhauls, they're simple signals to your body that it's safe to heal and function the way it's designed to. When we talk about liver and gut health, most people focus on what they should avoid: alcohol, sugar, medications, but one of the simplest and most overlooked habits that damages these organs is what's missing: enough water, enough fiber, and enough gut-friendly foods. Your liver is constantly filtering and processing toxins, and your intestines are moving waste along like a conveyor belt. Both rely heavily on hydration to work properly. Water keeps blood flowing to the liver and helps flush byproducts into the bile and eventually the intestines. When you're dehydrated, everything slows down. Blood becomes a little thicker, waste moves more sluggishly through the gut, and toxins can linger longer than they should. You may notice subtle signs: constipation, fatigue, even headaches, but internally this slowdown creates more work for the liver and more irritation for the gut. Fiber is the second missing piece. Think of it as the structural support and fuel for your intestinal system. Soluble fiber absorbs water and forms a gel-like substance, helping to remove cholesterol and toxins. Insoluble fiber acts like a broom, adding bulk and keeping things moving. But fiber also feeds your gut bacteria, which in turn produce short-chain fatty acids that protect the intestinal lining and even communicate with the liver to reduce inflammation. Without enough fiber, the gut ecosystem becomes undernourished. Harmful bacteria can gain ground, bowel movements can become irregular, and the gut lining can weaken, making it easier for unwanted substances to pass into the bloodstream and increase the burden on the liver. And then there's the lack of probiotics and prebiotics. Fermented foods like yogurt, kefir, kimchi, or prebiotic-rich foods like onions, garlic, bananas. These help populate and feed the good bacteria that keep digestion smooth and support immune health. When diets are heavy on processed foods and light on these gut-friendly options, the microbiome diversity shrinks. This doesn't just affect digestion, it influences how the liver processes nutrients, how inflammation is handled, and how energy is managed. The beauty of addressing this is that it's straightforward. Drinking enough water through the day, aiming for fruits, vegetables, legumes, and whole grains, and adding small amounts of fermented foods can transform the gut-liver connection. It doesn't require fancy supplements or extreme diets. Your body thrives on consistency, and every glass of water, every fiber-rich meal is like a reset for your digestive system. These simple daily choices allow your liver to clear toxins efficiently, and your gut to function as the protective barrier it's meant to be, keeping you energized and resilient. Circle back to opening image. Now renewed energy, vibrant health, empowered viewer. Affirm these aren't extreme sacrifices, but small sacred choices that reshape your biology. Invite viewers to see themselves as guardians of their own internal ecosystems. Call to action. Begin today with one small habit shift and feel the silent systems awaken in gratitude.